Coming up next is Dr. Julianne Blake. She was diagnosed with MS more than 20 years ago, and now she's a best-selling author and the creator of the program Choose Joy Anyway. It teaches people how to release pain, tame stress, and make dreams come back to life.
Hi, I'm Dr. Julianne Blake, and I'd like to tell you about my new book. I work with people who are in pain or dealing with chronic or severe illness, and I'm an expert in compassionate healing, and I like to encourage people and show them how they can heal themselves more effectively. And in the book, The Success Secret, I've co-authored a chapter with Jack Canfield, #1 success coach in America. And my chapter really deals with coaching for healing serious illness and just revitalizing your life. So if you're depressed or discouraged or resigned and afraid of being ill and that your best times are gone, that's so not true. Please know that there's immense amounts that you can do, especially with a little guidance and help. And I'd love to have you check out the book, read my chapter. There's several healing experiences in there, and get the idea of what's possible for you, because you're immensely powerful at healing. And I want to help you access your power and heal yourself. It's a beautiful experience. And I have a website, Choose Joy Anyway, where you can see my chapter in the book and get a complimentary guided visualization if you choose. ChooseJoyAnyway.com. The Success Secret, it's yours.
Sometimes in your life, the unexpected can happen. You may find yourself diagnosed with a chronic illness. So how do you find your way around all of the pain and the frustration that comes along with no longer being in that vital state of health? Well, my guest today is Dr. Julianne Blake, and she's here to help us come up with solutions to move through the pain and connect with our joy. Dr. Blake, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kristen.
So what happens to people when they find out that I'm diagnosed with something?
You know, a lot of people with pain and chronic illness just get really discouraged, and they tend to withdraw. They might be angry or depressed, but definitely discouraged. And they give up in a way. They give up a lot. Not everyone, but withdraw and sort of don't feel, they feel very disempowered by the medical profession. They're usually told, well, there's no hope, it's incurable. You might be fine for a while, but prepare to get worse. You know, that's what I was told, actually. And
prepare to get
it's
worse.
Devastating. Yes, prepare to get worse.
So tell me a little bit about your own story. You have an incredibly inspiring story.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis, when I was 40. And I had just gotten my doctorate, and I was a dancer. I paid my way through graduate school dancing. That's what I loved. And so all of a sudden I was falling down for no reason. And I didn't know what was wrong. I just cried. And I got told I had MS, and that was the doctor that said, oh, you can live a long, healthy life with MS. But, you know, it's incurable, and get ready to be in a wheelchair. And I just was heartbroken, especially because I didn't think I could dance ever again. I was hardly walking. And I finally realized after just a few years of being discouraged and depressed and in despair, that I couldn't live like that. I needed to find a way to be happy and to dance however I could, and to get on with my life and my work. So I have, and it's just wonderful. So now it's my mission to help other women, especially anybody with illness. I work with people with cancer, fibromyalgia, arthritis, the whole 9 yards, and to help them find their joy and their passion and their reason for being alive.
You know, it is so inspiring to hear your story. And I also think about friends that I have, people I know who one day find out, you have cancer, you have MS, you have, an inoperable circumstance. And then suddenly it's just their whole life, from the morning they wake up until they go to bed at night, they're dealing with pain. What would you say to them?
Oh, they're also dealing with a lot of fear, and between the pain and the fear, they become inoperable.
Right.
But you know what? It just doesn't have to be that way. We have immense, immense power. Our bodies are made to be healing, self-healing organisms. And our unconscious, our inner child, our imagination, whatever you want to call it, it's our spirit too, of course, is immensely powerful. And when we access that power that we have to heal, we're amazing. The stories that I've heard, I'm writing a new book, so I'm actually interviewing people who've had amazing healings that they've done themselves. We are so powerful. I want everyone to know that they don't have to give up and they don't have to take on the attitude of their doctors at all, because we can make miracles, every one of us, and they just need to know how to access that and overcome their limitations.
So I'm looking at you and you look radiant. I mean, you're smiling, you're joyful, and you've had MS now for
28 years.
28 years.
I'm supposed to be in a wheelchair. I was supposed to have ramps on all my doors of my house. They told me to do that 7 houses ago. And I'm not going to until I really need it.
So what is the key? What's the key? How are you unlocking this joyful attitude?
Well, there are a number of things that I think are really important. And the first one is for everyone to start with their intention. And that, by that I mean, why are they alive? What do they really want? What are they passionate about? What are they here to do? What do they care about?
Do we forget that when we get sick sometimes?
I think we do. I think we forget that a lot of times.
Even if we're not sick.
Because some of the actual very, very ill people I know who've had amazing comebacks actually say that that's part of what happened to them, is that they really reviewed their lives and they really came to a completely new understanding of what they're here to do and what matters to them. And they see life completely differently. And that's the transformation that's available to everyone who wants it.
So how do you find that? You're sitting at home, you're in pain, and you're saying to connect to the meaning in your life.
Well, I definitely think there are things when you're, especially acute and chronic pain, there are things that you need to do to relieve that. But every time people find their joy, that's like one of the most powerful healing tools there is. So I think, there definitely are things, and I do help people find their resources to physically heal the pain and other symptoms. But the other thing is to find their purpose and their passion and to start to see and create the life they really want. And when they start moving into their joy and into what they want, to doing things they love, it's amazing how much I think it reduces the pain, but it certainly takes your attention off of it. When you're totally focused on your pain and your illness, it just kind of empowers that, And when you're doing something you care about and you love that really matters to you, you're starting to heal already, before the symptoms are even gone.
So you kind of forget the pain.
Yes. I think we take the power away from it when we take our attention off of it. But in order to do that, you have to have something that you really care about, that you're passionate about, to put your attention on. And then it's one of the greatest pain relievers there is. There's actual research that meditation has a more potent, way more powerful effect at reducing pain in the long term than drugs, pain drugs, and even than morphine.
Wow.
And when I first heard that, I was like,
meditation is more powerful than morphine.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I was so thrilled when I heard that. I thought, oh my God, I was right. And I'm going to find a way to empower it even more and teach people how to use it, because a lot of people are afraid, or they think it's hard, or, you know, and it doesn't have to be. It can be wondrous. It can be doing what you really love.
So I have heard people say that cancer was the best thing that ever happened to them,
yes.
or a chronic illness is the best thing that ever happened to them. How can you celebrate a chronic illness?
Well, you know, I think it's wonderful that you asked that, because I think that's so important to celebrate. And I think we have to start celebrating every success along the way, even if it seems small, you know, like if it's taking the first step, because that's the beginning of the huge change. And every time you celebrate, it's like all the parts, the little child inside, all the scared parts, and all the parts that really have been wounded or abandoned or abused, start to heal. They love the celebration, and they go for more of it, and it really accelerates the healing and the strengthening. So absolutely, we celebrate with whatever we love. It could be wonderful food, it could be movement, it could be dancing. For me, it's dancing. But it's also just sharing with people we love, you know, being close and sharing, doing whatever we love, whether, you know, it might be painting, it might be dancing, it might be baking a pie, you know, whatever it is.
You know, I've seen it before with people who find out that they're sick. And they stop living their lives. They stop having family over for dinner because it feels too hard. It's more pain. It's stressful. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally think you're absolutely right. You know, I just would encourage them to celebrate anyway. You know, it doesn't have to be like a dinner party for 30 people. It can
no
be,
overachieving.
No, it can be a wonderful cup of tea with a good girlfriend. It can be, you know, just having family for a potluck dinner. It can be a bowl of soup, you know. But it's your attitude and being open and having the closeness with other people and having the celebration attitude, having a toast or whatever it is, a piece of chocolate, you know, whatever it is that tells yourself that you're celebrating and that you're rejoicing and that you have something to acknowledge yourself for.
Do you believe that the body responds to celebration?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And how have you seen that, you know, demonstrated?
Oh, well, in myself, every time I've found a new way to dance, which some of them were pretty unusual at first, but you know what? I feel the joy of it and the flexibility and all of that, and I see the enhancement in my ability.
Do you do a little chair dance now sometimes?
Yeah, I do. I do that. Oh, I have one of those machines that you can get, you know, go upside down inversion. And I dance upside down on that.
The upside down on the inversion machine. That's a great image.
It's fun, you know, because being creative is an important part of it, you know. When you stop being limited to how it used to be or how it ought to be or how everybody normal does it, there's amazing ways to do things.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun in just being outside that box.
Yes. So I encourage everybody to be an inventor for themselves. Because, you know, amazingly enough, nobody told me. I mean, no doctor or physical therapist ever suggested to me that I might be able to use a cane, that it might help, or a brace, or some, you know, things like that to make walking easier. I had to find that out from other people.
Did you go figure that out?
Yeah,
wow.
I figured it out. And I invented something to help me lift my leg, because I was a hiker too. I wanted to go hiking, but I'm not going to not hike because I can't do that. So I made a handle for my jeans.
The hiking handle.
Exactly.
We'll have to get a patent on that.
Yeah. So you can help yourself, you know, as soon as you loosen up your imagination and become inventive, it's amazing.
Wow. What an inspiration you are. Julianne, tell me a little bit about your book. I know you're writing another one right now, but just tell me about your past book.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's the success secret, and I have a little bit about my coaching and how people can use visualization in order to heal and transform their health or anything else they want to create. In fact, it doesn't have to be just for healing. I think people can bring forward whatever they truly desire in their lives with visualization, and I suggest it for everyone, and I have some very simple ways to do it that I love to share with people. That in order to, because it's different than just positive thinking, you know, where you're just dwelling on what it is that you want and expecting it, which is what a lot of people actually practice. But the kind of visualization that I teach, which I think is very powerful, it just can be kind of enhanced, enlivened, empowered by using the different senses, like you actually hearing what you would hear when you're celebrating or when whatever, achieving whatever.
Well, we can go through a little exercise if you'd like.
Absolutely, let's do that.
So I'm following your lead.
Okay. Let's do, I just want to share that for me, compassion and gratitude are total keys. And it's sort of like drinking enough water during the day. It's something everybody knows how to do, and we do it, but
we forget.
We don't practice it, and we don't take advantage of the power of it. And so, I'm just gonna ask you to just close your eyes for a minute, and just remember the last few days and think about whatever has been going on in your life. There might be challenges, there might be celebrations. And see how you feel in your body, whatever you notice.
Okay.
And how good you feel or not good, or, take another deep breath. And now with that awareness, just allow yourself to think of something that you're deeply grateful for. Could be something that you saw or something that happened to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and let yourself just dwell in that feeling and actually let it expand as you breathe in. So you can just fill yourself with that gratitude and let it spread all over your body. And if there's somebody...
I'm feeling thankful, Dr. Blake.
If there's anyone you want to acknowledge or appreciate for that, let yourself imagine doing that.
Okay.
And then when you're ready, just check in your body again and see how it feels. Do you notice any difference?
You know, it's interesting. I noticed I've had this like little bit of tension in my back, and it just dissolved.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It is. It's very powerful.
And what a simple exercise. I mean, it just lasted, what was that, like 30 seconds? Yeah.
And that we have with us all the time, and it's free.
I know, I love that. I love that. It's free.
And sharing it with other people is immensely powerful as well.
You know, it's such a valuable point that you're talking about, this exercise, that we can just stop for a moment in our lives and just, you know, take a deep breath. I even forget to do that sometimes. You know, we're rushing. I have 3 children myself, and then another stepdaughter, so 4 children. And, you know, I notice sometimes, like, when we're just busy in the day, we don't even stop and just take that big, deep breath.
Yeah, it's true. Breathing is a great key. Smiling. You know?
Breathing and smiling. We forget about even the most simple things.
Exactly. We do. And they can change your whole... in fact, smiling, there's research that enhances the immune system. Wow. So it's very simple to start building into your life.
I read recently about a gentleman who diagnosed himself for laughing, you know, to do laughing, to beat his diagnosis.
Yes.
And so what he would do is just every day find something to laugh about. And so he was just, you know, reading comics, watching funny movies, you know, observing videos, and he was laughing all the time. In fact, they moved him out of his room in the hospital to another place because he was so loud laughing, and it was upsetting the other very sick people who were in the serious business of being sick.
Yes, exactly.
And you know, that actually completely healed and transformed him, his laughing therapy.
Yeah. You know what? You're so right, because, you know, have you ever been in like the rooms in the hospital where they do chemotherapy for cancer patients. I used to spend a lot of time in there, not for myself, but people I was working with. And I was very aware that that some of the people were very seriously busy, being really sick and very depressed or withdrawn or angry about it. And there were other people, like the same illness, the same treatment, in their chairs getting the IVs exactly the same, but they were happy. They were like sharing and talking and socializing and being as happy as they could be. And you know, who do you think got better faster?
It would be an interesting study.
It has been done, yes. Happiness actually really does accelerate healing. It's
wow.
I'm
not surprised by that, though.
It's simple. Yeah. No, it actually makes sense. But there's research to prove it. So absolutely. I think you're right that people make that choice. And so I'm really now focusing on working with people who want to make that choice, because I know that when they do, they can be immensely powerful.
So what's the first step? You come home from the doctor's office, you're devastated with some news. What's the step beyond that?
Well, I think, you know, there's a number. The first one is acceptance. I mean, we have to take it really, but you don't have to take everything the doctor says with it. Like, you know, get ready for ramps in a wheelchair. You know, I didn't accept that, and I didn't have to even think about it for 20 years.
Right.
And so, so that, you know, that's critical, because we don't want to have our head in the sand and be unrealistic. But the next is to go beyond what their medical attitude is and look for the resources. And there's physical resources out there, other people, you know, doctors, chiropractors, acupuncturists, massage people, wonderful things. There's diet, nutrition, movement. And so that's sort of the physical, the body things. And they're important. You know, you can't do them all at once, but to start looking for what you love that works. And that's an experimental process. It takes time. But the other is to look at mindset and what's, you know, and what's our attitude about it, and what do we really want. And I think that's really critical. And then to start creating the vision of what we want, and to be really specific about that. And in being specific with a visualization, I teach people to use their senses to put feeling and emotion into it. That empowers it. And then the action steps to bring it into reality, because it can be, it is. That's how we make our realities.
Now, Dr. Blake, you have outlined some specific action steps that people can take to move into this place of joy. Would you mind sharing a few of those with us?
Oh, yes. Well, I mentioned having the goals and or the vision, and creating the real vision of what it is that we want in our lives. And then enlivening that vision with our senses, with really knowing seeing what we'll see when we accomplish that goal, and hearing what we might hear, and feeling emotions and feeling the feelings. Like, what's the celebration when you make the bestseller list, or dance your first tango, or whatever it is that is the goal. And so there's also work on bringing it into reality. There's some work with goals to make the vision real, because that's very possible. That is how we create our reality. And celebration for every little step along the way, every success, no matter how small it seems, because they grow that way. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. The more we succeed, the more we celebrate, the bigger it gets.
So talk to me about celebration. Like, give me an example. What's a type of celebration? You know, if someone is sitting at home and they're feeling in pain, what's an activity that they can do later today to celebrate progress?
You know, I think there's just every possible level of things that bring you joy. It might be listening to music you love, calling someone you love you haven't spoken to in a long time. For other people, it might be writing a card, or reading a great book, or having someone to dinner, making a little party, as we spoke of earlier. You know, having tea. whatever it is that makes you feel wonderful. Might be eating a little bit of chocolate. That's a celebration for a lot of us.
Dark chocolate celebration, yes.
Exactly. Or it might be going out and doing something that we never do. You know, something, so, you know, whatever's going to inspire you to feel joy. Oftentimes I ask people to think of something unexpected that's not part of their routine and celebrate with that, because it brings a whole new dimension for them.
Absolutely.
And gratitude, whatever brings you gratitude, and the people that have helped you along the way. Also, I like totally promote expressing gratitude and appreciation.
Well, Dr. Julianne Blake, I am grateful for you being here on the show with me and being part of the ripple effect for others who are finding joy inside their chronic conditions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love being here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Dr. Julianne Blake, and I'd like to tell you about my new book. I work with people who are in pain or dealing with chronic or severe illness, and I'm an expert in compassionate healing, and I like to encourage people and show them how they can heal themselves more effectively. And in the book, The Success Secret, I've co-authored a chapter with Jack Canfield, #1 success coach in America. And my chapter really deals with coaching for healing serious illness and just revitalizing your life. So if you're depressed or discouraged or resigned and afraid of being ill and that your best times are gone, that's so not true. Please know that there's immense amounts that you can do, especially with a little guidance and help. And I'd love to have you check out the book, read my chapter. There's several healing experiences in there, and get the idea of what's possible for you, because you're immensely powerful at healing. And I want to help you access your power and heal yourself. It's a beautiful experience. And I have a website, Choose Joy Anyway, where you can see my chapter in the book and get a complimentary guided visualization if you choose. ChooseJoyAnyway.com. The Success Secret, it's yours.